I stand with 35 other colleagues as candidates in this 2007 general election in this Christmas season, when most people would prefer that we were not knocking on their doors, but walking out there on a daily basis to ensure that we touch base with people so that we hear one more time and understand clearly what their issues actually are. When I see nonsense, as I saw in today's paper, which is an attack, a direct affront to the integrity of the leader of this party and the 35 members who stand with him, I take personal offense. I can tell people that the members of this United Bermuda Party have come through this campaign on as high a road as we know how to take. The one thing we will not do is to stand idly by and to allow the government, through its advertising, to allow its what is perceived to be their voice on talk radio, to set our agenda. And we will not stand idly by and allow them to undermine the positive things that we have put forward by taking one piece of a phrase and putting it onto the back of another piece of another phrase and intentionally just deceiving the people of this country. It is frustrating to us, and we will not stand idly by and say nothing.
The leader of the Progressive Labour Party, Ewart Brown, is not willing in any way to debate issues. The Progressive Labour Party, from the beginning of this campaign, has seemed to be more focused on what the United Bermuda Party plans to do or is doing in this campaign, and that's why you see the smear. I again offer an invitation to Ewart Brown to let's have a debate, because that's what the people of Bermuda want at this time. They want the leaders of both parties to sit down and discuss the issues so they can make up their mind on where we go. The debate is clearly very important because while the United Bermuda Party has a platform out there, the Agenda for Change, and more information will follow again next week, at this stage, 4.5 weeks into an election campaign, the Progressive Labour Party still hasn't been able to produce a platform.
And this paper talks about pulling hot off the air. There's nothing could be further from the truth. What we said was, look, there are rules that are in place that govern political broadcasts. And those rules, incidentally, were rewritten by the Progressive Labour Party in 2003. So they're their rules. Secondly, HOT operates under a license which was issued under the Progressive Labour Party. So that's a Progressive Labour Party issued license. And what we said was, look, we're concerned that they may be breaching those rules. If they are, is what we ask, what are you going to do about it? Secondly, we said, we're concerned that they may be in breach of the terms of their license. And if they are, what are you going to do about that? And let's be clear, this goes, I think, to an issue that runs throughout this election campaign. And it's this: is there one set of rules for the Progressive Labour Party and another for everybody else?
Exactly.
Is that what it's all about? And if it is, then I say to the Progressive Labour Party, drop the pretense, drop the facade, and tell people that's exactly what it's about. One set of rules for you and another for everybody else. And we'd like to play by the rules, and we'd like to have a set of rules that are fair and apply equally to everyone.
I just wanted to, thank you, Leader, make some comment with regard to the misleading information that's been put out with regard to the 3 strikes platform that we have come up with. No one with regard to 3 strikes is talking about life imprisonment. We're talking about a 3-strike system where in the first 2 strikes, which have been conveniently ignored, we wish to implement programs of rehabilitation with the thread of education running through our penal system to raise people's hopes and spirits that are incarcerated by assisting them with becoming more educated and giving them the hope to come out and find jobs through those programs. This is a government that has ignored that approach entirely, with a complete failure with regard to approach to rehabilitation.
I've knocked on many doors, and if I've been involved in rehabilitation for over 35 years, I've heard many of you speak very clearly to the inconsistencies that exist in this community. You've spoken very clearly to how unsafe you feel. And there needs to, as my colleague mentioned, there needs to be a beginning point, a beginning stage that progressively speaks articulately with no ambiguity to exactly what needs to happen to make you and the citizens of this wonderful island to feel safe, and even the perpetrators to feel a sense that something is happening in their lives so that they can begin to evolve from where they are to a better place. We're talking about a quality of life here. And again, what I feel excited about is that it's a plan that we will continue to engage you in and invite you into the process, the end of which all of Bermuda will be in a better place, and that's one of the things I feel very excited about. It's about rehabilitation. Actually, it's really about prohabilitation, taking everyone that is involved in these negative elements to a better place than where they are, and that really calls for a continuum of health care, behavioral health care, and also criminal justice attention as well.
4 years ago, Ewart Brown said after the 2003 election, we had to mislead you. 4 or 5 weeks ago, Ewart Brown said you would see a monumental smear campaign by the United Bermuda Party in the run-up to this election. Well, today, we know what he means, but it's not by the United Bermuda Party. It's by the Progressive Labour Party. I stand here today with my colleagues to say, Bermuda, we must appeal to our leadership to stop this nonsense. This election needs to be about issues and leadership moving forward. Clearly, in the strongest tone that I can, that Bermudians deserve better than they're getting at the present time. We will not descend into the gutter of the smear tactics of politics. Everything written in this advertisement is an outright lie and a misrepresentation, and we will not tolerate it. The United Bermuda Party, in our platform, says nothing about hanging or flogging, nothing about life sentences for people. The Progressive Labour Party would choose to distort and lie and mislead people. Well, my fellow Bermudians, I stand here today to tell you we're not going to take it. And I ask you to join us as we move forward together. Well, we're going to keep this election on the high road. We're going to talk about our programs and our policies. We're going to talk about the message of hope that the United Bermuda Party has for all of our people of Bermuda. We choose not to practice or preach hate. It's all about hope. It's all about opportunity. It's all about celebrating our diversity and respecting tolerance for each and every individual from the East End to the West End. That's what it's about as we move forward in Bermuda. Our party has continued to preach hope and not practice hate. Because clearly, Ewart Brown and his colleagues are desperate. It's a desperate party trying desperate measures. And I can understand and accept that Ewart Brown would allow an advertisement to go in the paper as is today. But I certainly don't understand how his colleagues approved it as well. And all of us as Bermudians need to stand up and say enough's enough. Because we're all good people. We all want the best. And this election shouldn't be about smear. It should be about programs and policies that work. And we will bring this campaign back to that high road. We will talk about the programs that I mentioned. We will talk about the drastic need to focus in on crime, because clearly what my colleagues and I hear on the doorstep, day in and day out, night in and night out, is that crime is rising to levels that's not acceptable. And perhaps the only person who feels safe in Bermuda right now is Ewart Brown himself, because he's got a bodyguard. Well, is that acceptable? Is that acceptable for us as Bermudians to feel unsafe? And the PLP attacks us and says we're too tough on crime, because all we want to do is enforce the rules that we have on the book, create legislation that will make us all feel safer on the homes, on the roads, and at the same time offer our brothers and sisters a hand up when need be. Rally with us in the remaining 13 days of this election and show everyone in Bermuda that there is a better way. There's a way where we join together as brothers and sisters and get the best out of our leadership. That's what I will stand for with my colleagues in the United Bermuda Party, the best that we have to offer.